Hey guys, William Furno here today. Today I will be doing another classic review, and I apologize if the flow in this one seems a little different. I haven't actually done one of these in a little while. I've kind of taken an unintentional break. So if this Witchdoctor review seems a little bit less, like it's less speedy or it seems different, that's because my flow is kind of off because I haven't done this in a few weeks. Anyway, we're going to get right into it with Witchdoctor. Here is his box. I believe this set retailed for like 50 bucks, or no, it wasn't 50. It was like 35, I think. Don't quote me on that. I haven't looked it up in forever, and I got the set as a gift, so I don't actually remember what they paid for it. Anyway, this is the second biggest set piece-wise in Hero Factory. It's 331 pieces. Just I think around 80 pieces short of the drop ship. I want to say that one was like a little over 400. Yeah. Anyway, in the back here, Witchdoctor is facing off against Rocka XL, and then we have a little comic here. So this box is pretty big, so that's why it's kind of hard to fit on screen. The instruction booklet is kind of thick too, though it's not as thick as you would think it would be for a set this big. But just on the end here, we have an advertisement for Scorpio versus Stormer with a little ad for the Rise of the Rookies DVD. We have just a look at the website here, the Creep Crushers game, which was like a 2D game where you just were like mini heroes and you faced off against mini versions of the villains. You had Hero Factory FM Radio, the Hero Builder, the Comic Book Builder, which I never actually used. I don't remember what it was like. And then the Recon team, where you were able to design your own 2.0 or 3.0 style hero and order it to your house. So, without further ado, let's get into Witchdoctor here. Now, before I get into him, in the story, he was basically, his real name was Aldous Witch. He was like a teacher at the Hero Factory, and he wanted to have more power. He wanted to use Quasar, the Quasar that was in the Hero Cores. So he kind of went crazy, and he went to planet Quatros, where the Quasar is extracted. It was kind of an abandoned mining planet, because they used to mine it, but I guess it was kind of like a rare resource now, so he wanted all of it, so he found some and turned into this, I think, and he started taking control of the animals that were on the planet and made them work for him, and these red spikes represent Quasar. So I'm going to move the camera back a little bit, just to see if you can get a full view of him. He's pretty tall. I don't remember how actually tall he is, and I don't actually have a hero here with me, but I do have this little set here. I believe this name is Barracks. I don't know, it was just hanging out on my desk, so I'll pick it up. So this is how big he is, just for a size comparison, if you guys want to look at that quick. But that's how big he is. And I guess we'll just look at the build. Now the build is extremely unique, because, I mean, there's a lot of pieces, there's a lot of articulation on the set that all these pieces contribute to. I would say that there's a ton, like a ton of red ball joints, as you can see here, which is incredibly cool construction, where a set this big you would think would have a lot of limitations when it comes to posability, because maybe they needed to invent a bigger part, and bigger parts usually don't have all that much articulation. But no, they used regular parts that you would even see on the smallest of sets to create like these legs here. They're a huge, massive technique and construction, and it's incredibly cool. So here you have like ankle swivels, but you can also move the foot back and forth. Now it is a little bit hindered due to, like, you know, interferences with the armor and such, but it's not that big of a deal. I mean, you still get so much motion. And the foot design is actually really stable too, because you have a Hero Factory 2.0 shield serving as the base, and it looks fine as feet. They look okay. So it works out. And then his legs are really bulky. This is something that they couldn't quite perfect on the smaller $20 large sets. They usually left some of it open and gappy, but they really perfected it here with this big design. It's double jointed. I guess that's not the right way to say it. It's connected by two joints, and it kind of ends up looking double jointed, I guess. But it looks a little awkward when he is standing straight up tall. If I can get that, it looks a little awkward since his knees are constructed like this, so they're naturally supposed to look like this, and that looks natural. but the way it's constructed, it kind of just tells you to keep it like this, because when it's straight, obviously you have that knobby knee looking thing. They did keep this whole piston function here, which is really nice. It kind of adds a lot of friction to the when you bend the knees and everything, and it really helps to stabilize the character. Up here with the red ball joints, again, this allows you to swivel back and forth, though I always find it that these ones crack when you move them, so I try not to move them a lot, but these ones are just fine. These ones move back and forth. So that's for the legs, the articulation, the parts. It all works together really, really well, and it ends up looking really sweet. So for the torso, it's kind of odd construction, but you know, they had to make it bigger. So you have these long lift arms in here, these long Technic beams, and you have a lot of Technic holding it together at the base here, at the hips, and basically this is just connected. Shoot, I'm sorry, I guess my phone thought I said "Hey Siri," which, oh shoot, I actually just did say it. I'm just gonna put this over here, sorry about that. So this is held together with this little Exoforce arm. I think that's what these are, these little pin holders. And it just connects this to this sort of neck guard, it kind of looks like a upper chest kind of guard. And then you have these tubes running behind him to make him kind of fill in those gappy areas there, but they're still kind of not filled in. There's no back coverage, so I don't know if you guys expected there to be back coverage on a set this big. I kind of expected that out of a set with this much effort put into it, but I guess they just left it open. So yeah. As for the arms, they're actually suffering a little bit from that lack of armor that the legs on the $20 sets usually suffer from, where they can't seem to find a way to cover this up, but I'm thinking of a way in my head right now. It's quite simple. You just have to put little pins there and then put one of those pin-connected armor covers over there, which would be easy, but that doesn't solve the problem that there's this weird gap right here. It's like his arm is really thick up until his wrist area right here, and that's kind of unsettling. It looks a little weird to me. On this arm, though, they kind of fix that. If you don't have the arm bent all the way, you can put his blaster like this, but then he can't really bend his arm, so you're gonna have to lift it up. But it looks better on this arm just because they have those large talon pieces to cover it up over there. And then he has kind of a staff here with another copy of his mask, so that's kind of cool that you get two copies of the Witchdoctor mask in here. The mask connects through two pins onto an armor shell, so it's not your standard axle connection or anything like that. And I believe in the preliminary photos or the prototypes for this guy that they were leaked kind of before the set came out, this staff was originally really huge, and it's a little weird seeing it this small. It's kind of a small staff, but I guess it kind of fits that Witchdoctor feel more. Like this is like a little, just kind of mind controlling staff. It's not meant to be huge, it's not meant to be used as a weapon. It's like you shake it around a little, and the kind of mist of controlling Quasar comes off of it, and it controls the animals. So I think, in a way, this small staff or thing kind of works, but it's also just a little weird to look at considering how big he is. The upper arms and the shoulders, they pretty much nailed. They're a little bit open at the top, but they make up for it with all these white talon pieces. I think they were used as tails sometimes, these white tail pieces coming off the top. And then the Quasar spikes here and there. His only main function is this Thornax launcher. And I'm guessing it just shoots like an orb of energy. I don't know if he would want to shoot Quasar out of it or if that's his thing, but you just pinch on both sides and you guys know how it works. You guys aren't dumb. His color scheme is incredibly consistent, consisting of white, black, and red. And there might be Technic grays in there, a little bit of silver, you know. But it's basically all regular colors, but it's a nice change from the normal black or dark and red colors that are usually associated with the evil main villain. I like that they used white for him. It fits with the skull theme he's going for. It kind of fits with the whole Witchdoctor theme. I don't really know how, but it just kind of does. So I do appreciate the color scheme on this guy and how balanced it is, and how nice of a change it actually is. So yeah, I'd say this set is incredibly ambitious. It's incredibly cool looking here. I can move it back just a little bit. I don't really want to cut too much off the top of him, but there, that's your view right there of him. It's an incredibly ambitious set. Like, this is the biggest character set in Hero Factory that you're gonna get It's pretty pricey. I'm pretty sure it was 35, maybe 40 bucks, but don't quote me on that again. You can look it up for yourselves, I guess, if you really want to know. It's going to be hard finding this guy sealed for a reasonable price, though. I'm guessing that the prices of this guy in a sealed box are crazy high. And even without the sealed box, maybe they're a little bit less than 35 bucks, but this guy was incredibly cool when he came out. This was like the top standard of CCBS construction that you could have in 2011, or whatever you say, 2011, 2011, I don't care. And I know that some Hero Factory fans with me, when they were growing up with it and this set came out, it was like the one that you really wanted. Like, sure, Rocka XL looked cool, sure, some of the villains look cool, the new tribal, animalistic Hero Factory heroes, but no, we wanted Witchdoctor, because Witchdoctor is just, he is like, even to this day, some people tell me, like, I ask what their favorite set is, they say Witchdoctor because it's just the biggest and the best to them. Now, I don't know if this is my favorite set for me. I do love it. I love how ambitious it is. I love all the parts. I love how fun it is to build. And I just love how it looks in the end. But I don't know. It's just not like my favorite set. And I can't really tell you why. But this guy is a solid 9.5 out of 10. And the reason he's not perfect is because, yes, there's small problems with him. And in my opinion, he's not my favorite character ever. But I think he does stand up really well against like the other years of Hero Factory and stuff as one of the best in Hero Factory, if not the best. So 9.5 out of 10. I would go back and get the box and instructions just to close it out, looking nice, but I'm too lazy to, and the box is big. So that's all I have to say. The next video will be the overview of Summer 2011. Hope you guys have enjoyed this series, and I'll see you guys later.